يقدم لكم هذا البرنامج برعاية شنايدر.
والآن هذا البرنامج تقدمه لكم ماما.
ما كاين غير ماما اللي تعرف لها.
سعادة سفيرة السيدة إليزابيث أوبان والسيد دانيال أوبان، يعطيكم الصحة لقبولكم الدعوة باش تكونوا معنا ضمن برنامج أذواق دبلوماسية.
Miriam, thank you so much for having us on your program. We're thrilled to be here with you, and Ramadan Mubarak to you and all your listeners.
يعطيك الصحة وهذا شرف لينا. سيدة إليزابيث، ممكن تعرفينا بنفسك أكثر باش المشاهدين يتعرفوا عليك؟
So, as the US ambassador, I arrived in February of 2022. But this hasn't been my first 25 months in Algeria. My husband and I were here from 2011 to 2014 when I was the number 2 at the embassy. So we are thrilled to have the opportunity to celebrate our 6th Ramadan right here in Algeria.
شيء جميل. سيد دانيال، ممكن تعرفنا بنفسك؟
And my name is Daniel Alban, and I am the spouse of the ambassador.
جعل الجزائريين على بالهم انكم زويجه اللي ما يتفارقوش.
Well, thank you.
السيده اليزابيث، وشنو هو الطبق اللي خيرتوه اليوم باش تعرفوا المطبخ الامريكي للجزائريين؟
So actually Dan is a better chef than I am, so I'm going to let him tell you what he's going to do tomorrow.
Oh, well, thank you. So what we are going to do is a dish that is very American. It actually was created around the 1800s, but I won't tell you what it is. You'll have to discover it.
خلاص، ما انتم مشاهدينا الكرام، اقعدوا معنا باش تتعرفوا مع بعض على المطبخ الامريكي والثقافه الامريكيه والطبق اللي راح نجهزوه مع بعض مع سفيره إليزابيث والسيد دانيال. اقعدوا معنا. مشاهدينا الكرام، عودنا ولينا ليكم في كوزينتكم أذواق دبلوماسية. في هذه الحلقة راح يكون معانا الثنائي الرائع زويجة اللي ما يتفرقوش. مرحبا بكم مرة أخرى في كوزينة أذواق دبلوماسية. سعادة السفيرة.
Thank you so much, Miriam, for inviting us on your show today. Dan and I are thrilled to be here with you.
يعطيكم الصحة، شرفني لحضوركم معنا سيد دان. سيدة سعادة سفيرة سيدة إليزابيث، قبل ما نبداو نتعرفوا على الطبق تاعنا اليوم، حبيتك نعرف هذا اللباس التقليدي اللي راني لابسته اليوم هو لباس تقليدي قسنطيني واسمه قفطان القاضي. عندك معلومات على هذا اللباس التقليدي؟
So I'm aware that your outfit is generally from Constantine, and it is worn by judges, maybe in the 19th century. It's gorgeous on you, and I love it.
وانا راني نشوف فيك اليوم راكي ليزاكسيسوار كابيل، راكي بالحلي القبائلي.
Exactly. I decided to wear some Kabylie jewelry to showcase beautiful Algerian handicrafts, just like you have done with your dress.
عندنا بزاف حكايات راح نحكوهم مع بعضنا في التجربة تاعك هنا في الجزائر، لكن قبل ذلك حبيت نعرف الطبق اللي قال لي سعد السيد دانيال سوربريز للشعب الجزائري. يعني نولوا للطبق ومن بعد نحكوا على التجربة تاعك هنا في الجزائر.
This was to be a surprise. What dish actually is in America and created in the 1800s? It's the hamburger.
Hamburger.
The hamburger has a number of origins that people are debating. Some say it's from Texas, some say it's from Connecticut, some say it's from Ohio, and so on and so forth. So, but everybody at the end of the day had a regional dish, which is how they made their hamburger, but it was introduced to the public at the World's Fair in St. Louis. And since then, it's everywhere.
وشنو هما المكونات تاع البرجر اللي لازم يكونوا ويقدروا الجزائريين يديروا في الدار؟ يعني احنا في مائدة رمضان نحبوا نديروا دائما هاد الانواع يكون يعني طبق جانبي ناكلوه مع الشوربه مع الحساء اللي نطيبوه يعني.
Well, the main ingredients is beef, and it is a hamburger meat that is taken from different parts of the animal. That the one I like to do is the collar and the chest of the beef, and in addition to that is the sauce, which we create, that actually brings another fascinating taste. But when we're creating the meats, we also add a certain amount of spices like salt, pepper, paprika, garlic, and also onion salt.
سيدة إليزابيث، احنا على بالنا أنه قارة أمريكا معروفة بالبقري، يعني اللحم البقر أجود أنواع البقر لحم البقر في العالم في قارة أمريكا. الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية واحدة منها. وش تحكي لنا في هذا الموضوع حول اللحم البقري الأمريكي؟
So you're right. The kind of beef is the most important part of the hamburger, and American beef is the best beef in the world. We are working actually with Algeria, with the government of Algeria right now, to obtain a certificate to import American beef in Algeria so that Algerians can enjoy what we have to offer to the table. And yesterday, in fact, I met with the Minister of Agriculture to have a discussion about this. We have already obtained a certificate to have American genetics, so beef genetics, and the first order has been placed through the Ministry of Agriculture for US genetics. So I'm very hopeful that Algerians will have American beef on their table quite soon.
إن شاء الله. لكن هذه سعادة السفيرة ليست أول مرة اللي تكون هناك علاقة ما بين أمريكا والجزائر. في القرن 19 كانت أول تجربة وين صدروا النخل البسكري طولقة إلى أمريكا باش يعملوا تمك يزرعوا تمك النخل باش يخرجوا دقلة نور. دوكا في كاليفورنيا كاين واحة سموها على اسم بالسكرة وواحة على اسم طولقة. عندك معلومات عليها ولا لا؟
So you're right. We've already had a lot of exchanges of agricultural products between Algeria and the United States. And in fact, California raisins grow in Ain Temushent, right here in Algeria. So there are dates, Algerian dates in the United States. There are California grapes in Algeria.
سعيد السفيرة، لكن لازم دوكا السيد دانيال يبدأ سينو يأذن علينا المغرب وما يوجدش البرجر تاعنا.
We can do that.
تفضل.
Thank you. So basically, the first thing that we're going to do when we're always cooking is wash our hands. Food safety always, right?
في نفس الوقت سعادة السفيرة نحكوا شوية على المطبخ الأمريكي باش يتميز واش عنده أنواع أخرى من الأطباق حتى نتعرفوا أكثر على الأنواع اللي تزين المائدة الأمريكية.
America, like Algeria, has different wilayas or states, and so specificities to each state. The types of cuisine in the United States are very much impacted by the waves of immigration that have occurred in the United States over the period of time of our independence. And so we have integrated many different ingredients and types of flavors into American cuisine.
احنا في الجزائر عندنا بهارات خاصة، يعني في المطبخ الجزائري حتى تديري طبق تقليدي لازم يكون عندك بهارات يعني خاصة بهذيك المنطقة. اسكو المطبخ الأمريكي تاني عنده هذه الميزة يستخدم بزاف البهارات في المأكولات تاعو؟
Yeah. So we use a lot of different spices, again, depending on the region where you are. Dan is going to be using various spices, even in the hamburger that he's making right now. In the Southwest, we use a lot of spices that come from Mexico and Central America, Latin cuisine. In places like Michigan, where there are high Arab populations, we use a lot of coriander, za'atar, other spices from the Middle East. So depending on what region you're in, there will be different emphasis on what kind of spices you use.
وشكون يعرف فيكم يطبخ؟ السيدان ولا انتيا؟
I am a pretty good cook. Dan is a chef.
Oh,
So
wow.
he knows how to do things in a way that is so wonderful. I don't actually need to cook because he takes care of all of that. He makes amazing homemade pizza.
Somebody's very generous.
He can make couscous. He can
Couscous.
make. Yeah, he's very good
I
at
make
couscous.
handmade couscous.
معليش تمد لنا الوصفة اللي تطبخها باش دير الكسكس.
The best couscous I like is a red sauce with chicken. I mean, there's so many couscouses here in Algeria, but I actually was taught here, not the first time, by the Algerian chef on how to make by hand.
احكي لنا سعادة سفيرة على كيفاش كانت العادات الجزائرية هنا في رمضان، وش يعجبكم أكثر في الأجواء الرمضانية؟ يعني هذا هو رمضان السابع ديالك أو السادس.
You're right. We lived here from 2011 to 2014 when I was the number 2 at the US Embassy. And then we had the great honor and opportunity to return in February of 2022. So this is our 6th Ramadan here. Of course, how could you not really appreciate chorba and borek
لازم يكون حاضر.
end your fast after sundown? That is such a iconic and traditional Algerian way of breaking the fast. And Dan and I enjoy when we are invited to iftars where there is chorba and borek.
ودائما راني نشوف انك ديري دائما افطار رمضاني، خطره في رمضان تدعي فيها، يعني تستضيفي فيها الجزائريين في المقر الاقامه ديالك، يكون ثاني افطار جزائري بامتياز.
That's right. We are at the US Embassy trying to deepen and increase US-Algerian relations. And the base of those relationships are people-to-people ties. And so we invite Algerians, we enjoy showing them our beautiful home that has many elements of Algerian heritage, and we love Algerian cuisine. And so eating an Algerian meal with Algerian friends during Ramadan is wonderful.
حاجة مليحة. ولو كان نروحوا للعادات والتقاليد اللي يتميز بها المجتمع الأمريكي، يعني مشاهدينا احنا نعرفوا أمريكا أنه مجتمع منفتح، لكن اللي ما تعرفوش أنه محافظ جدا. السيدة إليزابيث اليوم تعرفنا أكثر على العادات الأمريكيين اللي ما زالهم يحافظوا عليها اليوم.
You know, we have a lot of traditions in the United States. One of them that is very particularly American is Thanksgiving Day. It is the 4th Thursday in November. It was declared a holiday by President Abraham Lincoln to give thanks. This is when American families, extended families, often gather together, and the most traditional Thanksgiving meal is centered around a roasted turkey.
أنا نشوفوا سيد دان، وين راك لاحق بالبرجر ديالك؟
So we've actually started a little early while you were talking. And so what I did is I took the meat and added some paprika, some salt, some pepper, and some garlic. And I've actually mixed it in a bit of a formula here, secret formula. And put it in and mixed it in with the meat, made a ball so that it's measured, put it aside, and now it's in the fridge so that it rests.
شحال يقعد في الفريجيدر؟
So again, for safety reasons, as much as we can, we will leave it there, right? And it was already at the temperature of the room, which is perfect. The only thing that we're going to do, because cooking the meat here is quite fast, for the simple reason that one of the big things that I like to do is to keep a very thin patty. So one of the big things is going to be in 2 phases. One is to actually take the bread that we have, cutting it up and toasting it.
نبداو نقطعوا في الخبز. سعادة سفيرة، أنا مولف نتبعك في المواقع التواصل الاجتماعي، وعلى بالي أنك زرتي الجزائر وحوستي وشفتي أماكن كثيرة. أني حابسة في 33 ولاية جزائرية. كيفاش تعيشوا هذوك اللحظات وكيفاش تكتشفوا الشعب الجزائري؟
So you know, Dan and I have actually visited 37 Algerian wilayas.
أنا حبست في 33.
We keep looking to visit more because to totally to have a deeper understanding of this country, I think it's important to see the country and to see the diversity of Algeria. We've had the great opportunity to spend a lot of time in the Sahara Desert in a number of wilayas, and we've also spent time along the Mediterranean coast, some in the middle. It's just a beautiful country, and I look forward to continuing to explore Algeria since I still have 21 wilayas to go. I have visited more frequently the wilayas where we have our American corners. Those are our cultural centers where Algerians can go to learn English, absolutely free of charge. So that's Constantine, Ouaron, Béchar, Ouargla, and right here in the capital of Algiers.
سيدان، شنو هما الولايات اللي يعجبوك بزاف؟
Algeria is a beautiful country that has many facets to it. And in this facet, it's very hard to say which is the best. Because they really do have a charming portion to each and every one of them. One of the common things is the Algerian people.
وي.
So no matter where you go, it's the
حسن
Algerian
الضيافة
people.
والكرم.
Absolutely.
ولو كان نروحوا لأمريكا، وشنو هما الأماكن السياحية اللي تقدري توصي فيهم الجزائريين يروحوا لها؟
There are so many, like there are here.
نعرف تكساس،
Texas, the Grand Canyon.
واشنطن.
There is, of course, the capital, Washington, D.C., but there's also Washington State and the Mount Rainier range that is so beautiful out there. There are many beautiful things to see in the United States, the Great Lakes, the Rocky Mountains, the California coastline. That really, every state in the U.S. is as fascinating and diverse as every wilaya in Algeria.
كل واحدة عندها طابع خاص لها، وأنا الريحة ما خلتنيش. سيدان،
Yes,
علاش هكذا؟
it is very tempting. And I'm having a hard time not eating it yet.
بزاف بني.
But it is very simple, right? It is very simple. We just have to toast the bread. In toasting the bread, we try to give it a bit of a nice brown color, so we put some butter in the bottom. And then after we've done that, if anybody can enjoy this, I will be more than happy to tell it all.
عندكم هنا شحال في الجزائر تعلمتوا اللهجة الجزائرية شوية؟ تعرفوا كلمات ولا جمل؟
I am unfortunately not as good at Derja as I would like to be, but I can tell you الماكلة اللي تعجبني بزاف هي الكسكس.
كسكس باللحم.
Couscous, every kind of couscous, because Algerians make so many different kinds of couscous.
Oui.
It's such a wonderful, versatile dish. Of course, I love reshta, shakshuka, zviti, all kinds of Algerian food. Yes, all of it.
أكيد تعرفي خير مني. والكلمات واحد أخرين، كلمات واحد أخرين تعلمتيهم، كسبتيهم من خلال التعامل ديالك مع الجزائريين، من خلال السفر ديالك في الولايات الجزائرية.
So I can say azul, falawen,
حملاقن،
hamlaken, tanmirt.
تنميرت مليح. وأنت سيدان؟
Oh, I'm too busy cooking. No, I'm not as good, but I know a little shwiya.
شوية شوية، كيف.
Kif for sure.
وشنو هو دور ديالكم باش تعلموا الجزائريين اللغة؟
As I mentioned, we have our American corners, our American cultural centers where you can learn English. We also have a variety of cultural exchange programs where Algerians can visit the United States on shorter or longer term academic programs or programs that focus on different subjects of interest, whether it's scientific research or good governance or building civil society. And so we take Algerians on courses to the United States, on exchanges to the United States, so that they can improve their English language skills, learn about a subject they want to know more about. But I find most Algerians under the age of 30 speak gorgeous American English.
نروحوا نعاودوا نقولوا للسيد دان ونشوفوا إلى البرجر تاعنا راهو واجد ولا مازال.
As you asked me if the dinner is served, it's not yet. We do put a bit of a sauce. And this is a mixed sauce of mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, some pickle juice if you have it, garlic powder, some garlic onion, powdered onion, paprika, and Worcestershire.
سيد دان تكمل في لاصوص والبرجر ديالك، وإحنا يا مشاهدينا الكرام اقعدوا معنا باش نلقاو البرجر في طبق التقديم. مشاهدينا الكرام عودنا ولينا ليكم والبرجر تاعنا جاهز اللي جهزه لنا الشيف دان.
Thank you very much. It's a very simple dish. It's a very iconic American dish. It's over 100 years old. It started, as we said earlier, in the 1800s, late 1800s, where people said, no, it's from Texas, no, it's from Ohio, no, it's from...
America.
And yes, exactly. And these are the states or we could say the wilayas of America. But the truth of the matter is that it was introduced at St. Louis World's Fair, but became international after World War II when Americans went around the world and fought in World War II with their allies. They introduced this new cuisine that now you can get almost everywhere.
يعطيكم الصحة سيدة إليزابيث، سيدان، حضوركم شرفتونا اليوم في كوزينة أذواق دبلوماسية. ممكن كلمة أخيرة للمشاهدين اللي راهم يشوفوا فينا اليوم، لأنكم عرفتوا على ثقافة الشعب الأمريكي وعرفتوا على المطبخ الأمريكي لهم.
Thank you so much, Miriam. It was a great honor to be with you all here today to share an American hamburger and how to make that. It's a wonderful showcase of what Algeria and the United States can do together in terms of agriculture. I would just like to say, Sahaf Dorkum, Saha Ramdamkum, Yatik Saha Miriam.
يعطيك الصحة أنت يا سعادة سفيرة وأنت سيد دان. كلمة أخيرة.
Sahaf Turkum.
شكرا لكم سيدة إليزابيث وسيد دان، وانتم مشاهدينا الكرام لحقنا لنهاية الحلقة تاع اليوم. إن شاء الله تكون عجبتكم وعجبتكم الثقافة الأمريكية. نتلاقاو في الأعداد المقبلة إن شاء الله ونتعرفوا على مطابخ عالمية أخرى. نقول لكم صحة فطوركم وسلام.